Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, where we're going to keep you up to date with all the news, views, and practicalities in the racing world. And what a weekend we've had. We're going to be chatting about that weekend, but we're also going to be doing emails in your call. Always very interesting. There's some pretty contentious ones this week, and certainly worth listening to. We'll put a few people in their place as usual, but nice having got back from Johannesburg in one piece. It was a pretty good weekend racing.
It was fabulous. You know, I didn't believe how much it rains in a thunderstorm there. And the
after the races.
Sure, how did it pour after the races? Thank God they got through the day. But wasn't it a wonderful day, James? Beautifully organised, well run. Everything was a huge success. Well done to Pumelela. Great success.
And the sponsors certainly got their pound of flesh, because Sansui everywhere, and to all the minor sponsors. I just thought it was a very, very good race racing. Good horses. A triumph for Jeff Woodruff, which we'll talk about later. But just a great day's racing.
Absolutely outstanding. Well done to all concerned.
Let's go and have a look at our three to follow, and we've got three pretty interesting horses. Right, well, let's get into the first one, and we go to Turfentine, Saturday the 30th. That was the big day, and the first race was a maiden plate for 3-year-olds. It was a big stake, 100,000. You had a lot of good first-timers step out in here, and a lot of action for quite a number of them. We're going to go and have a look at the 1160 maiden plate and pick up a horse called Lance, but there are a few in here worth having a look at.
Yeah, I think Lance just loses his race. He's actually not that horse. He's too out in the blue, getting buffeted around in Chris Vernieker's colours. Now gets chased along to get out after the pack, and it's not too far off them here, but has been bumped, bored, and chased to get there. You can see him, Chris Vernieker's colours.
Yeah, next door to the horse with the light blue colours. He's number 4 saddlecloth. You can see quite clearly there, about 7th he is. And he really doesn't have it all his own way. He now gets switched in. There's a wall of horses in front of him. The horse that wins definitely has a bit on him.
A very nice horse. The horse that wins is an Australian horse called TJR. That runs a cracking debut as well. They're both debutants, and the money was on Lance. I mean, if you have a look at him here, he's 5th place, but he's only 2 lengths tops to find. And our friend Pierre Strain is looking for a way to go. Where's he going to go? He decides to go that way. And it doesn't look that good because the winner's starting to just lug out. So he switches in again. And the film's got a bit dark, but you see him here.
Yeah, it's the cloud that came over.
Yeah, the cloud that came over, that rain cloud. And here it quickens up. And the winner's a good horse, and so is the runner. This will win next time, James.
I think so. I think he's beautifully bred. He looked like a lovely horse, but there were some very nice horses in the race. There are a couple that are worth having a look at. You know, there was some...
Hawaiian Sun ran 3rd, you know, very good. Solar Triptych, very good run as well. Keep an eye on those horses, but well done to TJR. The Australian horse won a good race, but Lance, a tad unfortunate.
Right, we're going to go to the next one, and we're going to go Turfentine, stand side. This was race 2. They went 1,400 metres, and they put the money down on this one of Fred Crabbeers and Alec Laird's True Lonro. Imported filly. Very, very green, and I thought ran a very good race.
You know.
The winner won a good race, Laf.
There was talk about the other Australian horse, Bernardine. You'll get to see it runs a good race in 3rd, just ahead of True Lonro. And the perennial runner-up, Jumpstart, 5th, 2nd in a row.
Yeah, 5th, 2nd
Let's go and have a look.
Great if you don't back them.
These Fred Crabbeer silks. Gets a nice break in the red and black silks, and gets quite quickly into the race. Julius Mariba's riding True Lonro, and you'll pick it out there. In the yellow, going towards the inside, is Bernardine, the other Aussie horse there was a lot of talk about. And Striker is in the green colours. He's giving our friend Jumpstart a little bit of a chance.
Yeah, Honeybun ends up winning it. It had 2 starts, but she looked quite useful the way she won this. But I think that the first timers will improve quite a lot. And Bernardine, we picked out last time. She was all the rage in this race. I thought she should have been able to win a race like this, but nothing.
I think you're right, James. I think this field might turn out quite a few winners.
Yeah.
You know, the horse we picked out, True Lonro, the Aussie horse, is moving in Fred Crabbier's silk, starting to move into the race. It's run a very good race. It's his debut run. Bernardine's in the yellow going down the inside, and Stradham's in sixth on Jumpstart trying to close the gap.
Yeah, and hitting the front now is Honeybun in the Beck colours down the inside, and actually runs away from them. But we're looking at the others. I think that, as you say, True Lonro keeps on plugging. Stradham's run second 5 times. He's bumped a couple of decent ones this filly Jumpstart, and certainly True Lonro runs the best of the first timers. She's a filly that I think will win her races, and certainly next time she'll be able to win.
Yeah, but Honeybun, terrific win. Well done to Connections there. The blinkers on Jumpstart didn't get it into the first box, but it's a very good earner. Bernardine won't be long winning, but keep an eye on the unraced horse, True Lonro.
Well, we move on to Greyville Saturday night, and it's not often Laff and I pick one of our horses, but last time I think it was Gary Bondi, and she's done extremely well. Yeah. Gary Bondi won three out of 4 after that. This filly I think is very useful. We fancied her. We thought that she'd win. My Lovely, she's Australian bred, and when you look at this, you've got to believe that over a bit of ground, this filly will go places. I think she's a really good filly, and I think that she's probably an Oaks type filly. So
and unlucky to lose?
I thought extremely unlucky. She was drawn 1, and I asked the kid to try and get her into a reasonable position. She doesn't ever get away that well, but the problem happens when we turn for home. So let's go and pick it up, My Lovely, in race 5 at Greyville.
Right, whose silks are those, James?
Those are the Chetty silks.
Okay, so gets a slightly strode jump, and he's left at last now. Has he got blinkers and a noseband?
Yeah, she's very green, this filly. I've raced her in pacifiers the first twice where she looks at everything on the track, but then we decided to put blinkers on her, and I think they've made a difference. But
they're all keeping off the inside because a lot of rain here on Friday night.
It was fantastic that they raced, because you can see the inside of the course is absolutely waterlogged. But there she is, she's second last at this stage.
It looks a good gallop.
Yeah, and the filly that wins it is actually in front of her in the pink. And if she followed that filly through, that was Proverb, Doug Campbell's filly, I believe we might have been able to outrun that. But you'll watch here as we start turning for home. The kid decides that he's better, sort of look for a running room, look for somewhere to go, and he comes off the rail, and there he goes off the rail, and
Yeah, he gets a bit lost here, James.
No, and he gets taken now further off the rail by Proverb.
From draw 1.
Yeah, from draw 1, where we should have been up the inside. And now he's looking for running room here.
Nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go, absolutely nowhere to go. Now he's got to switch back inside. And
the winner's gone.
Really, at Greyville, you've got no real chance from here. And yes, even now, you still think, well,
Switched in again now, James. You're right. The winner's gone, and young Dylan sets out from it. Your filly's still very green, James. Lugging towards the grandstand.
Yeah, how she gets up to run second's a miracle, because here you see
she's not going to run second at this stage. Oh yeah. I think if he stayed in his position, turning for home.
He might easily have won. All he had to do is just wait his turn. Richard Hughes would have won on it.
Go, Richard. Well, there we go.
My favorite golfer and jockey, Richard Hughes. He would have won on it. But no doubt we can move on from that. And certainly they look like 3 worth following. And let's go to our blast from the past, where we're going to look at the Cape Guineas, 2011, the Cape Fillies Guineas. And this was a triumph for... We'll leave you to watch the race and see if you remember the race. Sean Cormack, Glenn Cotson were the team that prepared this filly. She ended up very good.
Being edged forward, Trinity House goes in. The Princess will complete the lineup. Princess Victoria comes up, moves in, set to race. Avontier Estate, Cape Fillies Guineas, Grade 1, all clear. Racing from that 1600, and Razzle Dazzle Rose dwelt as the pens opened, slotting in at the back of the field. Princess Victoria landed running, but Trinity House slips through along her inside off to set the pace. On the move, we got Super Elegant, so too Thunder Dance pushing through. Miss Ipaneema's 3 deep, improving position all the while. Back along the inside, we got Dubai Gina, and Madam Rooney is settling about 6 lengths off that leader. Next, we got Razzle Dazzle Rose. Then comes Bermuda Sloop, Ocean Swift, and Dark Journey is racing at the end of the line and sitting a dozen lengths off that leader as they head towards the 1,000. It's Trinity House in front. She leads the way by 2.5, and tracking her in second comes the Princess. Next along the outside, we've got Super Elegant, 3/4 back Dubai Gina. Miss Ipaneema, the red colour, still 3 deep on the outside of Thunder Dance. Madam Rooney also starts to creep closer. Razzle Dazzle Rose, Bermuda Sloop, Ocean Swift, and Dark Journey will whip them in as they straighten up. Aventura Estate, Cape Phillies, Guineas, 600 metres left to go. Trinity House is in front. Up there in second, we've got Princess Victoria, and Princess Victoria now starts to close ground on Trinity House. Along the inside comes Dubai Gina. Then we find Miss Ipaneema deeper out on the turf, and next comes Razzle Dazzle Rose. Along the inside with 300 metres left to go, Trinity House still in front. Here comes the Princess. She's being let loose with 200 metres left to go. Ladies and gentlemen, Princess Victoria has taken the lead from Trinity House, and we're looking at another right royal performance as Princess Victoria, reigning monarch in the Aventura Estate Phillies Guineas. She takes the glory from Trinity House, Thunder Dance, and Dubai Gina.
Well, there you are. Once you saw the race, you could never get it wrong. What
Very good filly. She was the horse of the year in KZN one of the past years. Very, very good filly. Trinity House, Thunder Dance, Group 1 horse. It's always a good field, the Cape Phillies Guineas.
Yeah, well, we're getting ready for the big Cape season now. We're going there, and we're going to be seeing some fantastic racing. It's really going to be interesting to see what happens amongst the 3-year-olds specifically, see what there is coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a really good bunch.
Let's go and have a look at the Plum of the Week, which is another interesting one.
And Anton Marcus has said, let's go on Rushmore River. They lead down the centre. Lua Lupjet is towards the inside. They 3-4 lengths clear of Super Tube. It's down the centre, Rushmore River. From Lua Lupjet back in second. Running on in behind that comes Mr. Mulliner. But it is still out there in front. Rushmore River, who's going to pull it off. And Rushmore River goes on for the Eustis to win it. Lua Lupjet second. Third to Mr. Mulliner. And then came Super Tube and Gabriel.
Well, if you're doing your money on Summer Cup Day, which you shouldn't have been doing because a couple of real good ones, one which we'll look at later, you had to back this. This looked like a blinder. Everyone was talking about it. You could have got 2-1 or better on Interbet, 22-10 even on this horse, and this was just unbelievable odds about a horse that everyone said was the business.
I spoke to the humble hero, Joe Soam, and he said to me he really thought this horse would win. A nice close the day for him, and obviously Arthur Marcus and Marcus Eustis and Ingrid Eustis was a very good day for them.
Well, you take your hat off to Anton Marcus. He stayed till the end. He won the big race. I know many jockeys that win these grade ones, you know, Julys and Mets and that do not fulfill their engagements.
They get on the hooch.
Yeah, and this is how professional this man is. He waited, he rode his horse at 8 o'clock at night or 8:30 at night, and came home and won it, did the business, did his job.
Superb professional. Well
done. He's an example to a lot of people, Anton Marcus. Right, let's move on, and we're going to have a look at current affairs.
Right, welcome back to Current Affairs. Well, Current Affairs this week has to be the big day up in Gauteng. What a fabulous day it was. We spoke earlier on the program how everyone contributed to make it such a success, and great racing throughout the day. We're going to show you those races, and James, you were up there with the runner, I was up there with the runner. It was a great day.
Absolutely marvellous. Really, really fabulous day's racing. And I think we had the right horses, we had the right mix, and we'll start off with the race that we'll show just before we go to the break, which is a triumph for a girl who works harder than anyone in this industry. Luchelle Kruger trained this horse. Acherez rode it. Apparently he works his butt off as well. Fanzine, we used to be with the Woodruffs.
110 to 1.
Yeah, it was just
amazing.
amazing.
It turned out to be a very good race. It came scooting up, but let's show you the race.
Then comes Kinematic Countess. Dolomiti 6 lengths off the leader with Garibaldi further back in the field. She's a stunner, and Fanzine as they come by the 600-meter marker. It's Al Canina, the white cap on the stand side, who is the leader. 2 lengths clear of Virgo's Babe in second, Archetry Pink. Then comes Summer Dew. My Sanctuary, the pink colours down the inside. Further back to Counter Edge, the luminous colours. Towards the outside is Fanzine. Further back in the field comes Dolomiti, who's trying to weave its way through. Then Garibaldi, but it's Archetry Pink coming down to the last 150. Fanzine is on the outside. Further back in the field comes Virgo's Babe. Fanzine and Archetry Pink. It's Archetry Pink. Fanzine is going to be a big upset the outside. Fanzine, Dolomiti flew for second. Third will go to Archetry Pink. Close for fourth, Virgo's Babe and Kinematic.
Well, there we go. Fanzine, a terrific, and Dolomiti coming home late. The Aussie horse, Archetry Pink, ran a good race. Just a touch on my horse, James. I really, really fancied her. She choked up badly. It looks like, we had the scope, looks like we might have to do a towback or something. She can't breathe.
Gee, that's, but you've had problems before, I remember.
Yeah, well, that's why we had the drop nose. The second time out. You know, she can get away with it in a 5 furlong. As Sean said, he hadn't moved on a double handful in the last furlong. There's nothing
but
there.
she was going as well then. But let's get back to Luchelle Kruger.
Yes, I don't know her, James.
I know her well, and she worked for Patrick Crayer for a long time. Very, very diligent and good trainer. And to end up winning a grade 3 on a day like this, good luck to her. She deserved
wonderful
it.
fillip for her career. Well done.
It is so difficult to win a race, you know, when you're just a trainer and you've got just horses. To win a race against the big boys is impossible. On a day like this, it's very, very difficult. Yeah. I've been lucky enough to win. You've been lucky enough to win. Good luck to her, and
good
may
luck.
she go
well
on.
Well done to her and her clients. And Fanzine, I wrote the pedigree down because I was looking to see it. At a national emblem, James.
Yeah.
Always been a good stallion, and bred by Mr. Van Schoor.
Pete Van Schoor, who owns it, you know, he's given her a chance.
You know these scarps and these people in Joburg, James. You know them all well.
They're all my mates, you know. All my mates are there. I got mates. I've been everywhere but the electric chair, you know. But let's we got to go. So let's go. We'll be back in a second. We're going to watch a race and we'll be back. Well, there we go. Hope you enjoyed that race. We're going to move on to race 4, Summer Cup Day, and this was the Merchants, Grade 2. Here comes Billy. Oh, he's been a good little horse. Mutterfoals are some type of horses, aren't they?
I've bought lots of Mutterfoals over the years. Yeah, this is a very good horse, bred by Riverworld Stud, you know, which I think is Juan van Heerden.
Yeah.
You know, it's set up well done, Tim. And owned by a very nice, polite man, Michael Leaf. I've met him a couple of times.
Superstar. Real supporter of the game.
Real supporter. Yeah. He owns Wiley Hall and a lot of good horses. So well done, Tim. And our friend Mr. Kumalo back amongst the big ones.
Yeah, well, after Dolomiti, I don't know, he wouldn't have been too pleased with that ride. Let's go and pick them up at the start. And this is the Grade 2 Merchants.
Stand side, Linkman is further back with Depardieu. Snowden is further downfield with Here Comes Billy and Miss October. Coming down to the 600-meter marker, and Copper Parade is the leader down the inside from Show Me the Way and Piano Man. In behind that comes Jackador, got 2 to go, then Miss October. Desert Shake towards the outside, Well Witcher. Yukon Gold is on the stand side, then comes Kings Bay. It's Copper Parade coming down to the 350, the leader. On the outside, Show Me the Way, Piano Man is also right there. Miss October, Here Comes Billy. Kingston Boy looks a danger, right down the centre of the track, right on the inside. Snowden is flying up late. Here comes Billy. Snowden is down the inside. Here comes Billy and Snowden. Here comes Billy. Snowden flying up. Here comes Billy. Beat Snowden. Kingston Boy third. Fourth to Copper Parade. Miss October. Linkman Depot.
There we go. Here comes Billy. What a good gutsy horse this is. Beat Snowden. Another hard hitter. James, Wire had a very good day as well.
Absolutely, and this horse is beautifully prepared for the race. He'd beaten Snowden before, on these type of terms, and there was no reason why I shouldn't beat him again. But Snowden was gallant in defeat. On his day, Snowden's a very good horse. You know.
Bernard Fader, a very good rider too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, Orman Ferraris, his time wasn't going to be that, he didn't have to wait too much longer before he struck, but that was the Merchants, that was race 4. Now we come on to race 5 on the day, on this wonderful day. It's the Fillies Mile. It's a grade 3 race for 3-year-old fillies, and this looked to be a very, very interesting race because there was talk for Athena, Admiral's Eye, and there was talk for Close the Gap and 1 or 2 others. It turned out to be a very good race.
Yeah, I think the filly we saw win here is the best filly in South Africa. This is the best 3-year-old filly in South Africa. It's funny, talking to Mike de Kock when they were walking around in the ring, and he said to me, the way this filly won last time, he thinks she's a superstar. And I took special note. And, you know, it's interesting that a man can pick out, and he's got his own horses in the race, the right horse, and she was the right horse.
She's really a good filly. You know, along came Polly's still going to nail her colours to master. It'll be interesting when they all lock horns. There's some really good fillies.
I'll be with this filly every day of the week.
Okay.
Okay, and especially over further. I think this filly might win.
That could be the key. That's what I think. Just talking about my old filly, Admiral's Eye.
This horse Chestnut's family.
Yeah. Let me get back to my filly from it, James. Admiral's Eye. Her whole family won over 2-6-2-8. She was drawn 14 and she'd beaten just over 11 3/4. So there's some really decent fillies above. But let's go have a look at this race because Close the Gap has now raised the bar.
Wider out is for the lads, who races only 2.5, 3 lengths off them, followed by Silent Force. Then comes Close the Gap, who races down the centre. Bluebell Glade Athena has got 6 lengths to make up as they rush down to the 600-metre marker. Saint Angelique, Wild Ash down the inside. Admiral's Eye is down the centre of the track. Then comes for the lads, Queen Eliza. Close the Gap is 3 lengths off them. Mylan towards the inside. Athena starting to look dangerous if it finds a way through. Then comes Sarasota, Square Dance on the outside as they come down to the last 300. Athena's bursting through on the outside to Admiral's Eye. Close the Gap has made a big run down the inside. It's Close the Gap who hits the front in the Gauteng Fillies Mile on the outside. Athena, Close the Gap from Athena. Close the Gap has beaten Athena. Admiral's Eye, Mylan, Wild Ash, sprinting Queen St. Angelique. Then came Queen Eliza, Sarasota. Further back behind that came Casual.
Well done to Orman Ferraris, a wonderful, wonderful trainer. Robbie Fad, a very good rider as well. This was bred by the late Bridget Oppenheimer and owned by the late Bridget Oppenheimer. And she's very good, so James, I agree with you.
Just talking about the Oppenheimers, there's horses in training sale at Reinkiesfontein on the 4th of December, which is 2 days' time. There's a whole lot of the Oppenheimer. There are about 18 horses, 16 or 18 horses. Michael Holmes is selling them. Apparently, they are going to sell off quite a few horses, and this has happened.
How many in the wholesale?
I think there are about 18.
That's all
Oppenheimer's horses.
All Oppenheimer's horses. Okay, it'll be interesting to have a look.
Absolutely.
Okay, and well done. Of course, you can't stop Fort Wood. Let's not forget Fort Wood. Never forget what a good stallion this horse has been. All right, James, Dingons. Always time for the Dingons to find out where the leading lights in the 3-year-old division. And you going to make any bold statements here?
Yeah, well, this was very interesting because there's a lot of talk about this horse that won the Dingons not being able to stay. When you watch a race, you get the impression that he stays every yard of the way, and you get the impression that maybe a couple of the others thought that he might not stay, and he got away from them.
If one looks at it, James, at the cold light of day, before going into the race, one would have said, at the weight, you had to go with the Aussie horse. But the Whistle Stop, who had beaten him last time, had done everything wrong in the race, and even though the weights were against it, Whistle Stop would turn the corner with Willow Magic. They ran 1 and 2, James, but Willow Magic, another very good win, James.
Yeah, I think these are 2 very nice horses, and I think that they beat the rest of them pretty comfortably. It will be interesting to see what happens from here. But let's go and have a look at the last 800 meters. We'll pick up the Dingons and see what happens.
Investec Dingons, 800 to go. As You Like leads the field with Mount Hillaby racing back in second. Bold Inspiration races back in third. Gio is fourth in the Dingons as they turn for home. Then Henry of York. Willow Magic's got 5 lengths to go. Followed on the outside by One Cool Cat. In behind that comes Whistle Stop, is racing up the centre of the track. Emperor Niarchos, Heart of a Lion. Then Judicial. Wider out is Booklet Top. 400 to go. As You Like is a clear leader from Bold Inspiration. Willow Magic Magic is starting to tighten up. On the outside of that, Whistle Stop has only got 2 lengths to make up. Booklet Top is on the stand side. Willow Magic strikes the front, 200 to go in the Investec Dingons, and it is Willow Magic for Sean Terry, leads from Whistle Stop, and Willow Magic is going all the way here. Willow Magic wins the Investec Dingons. From in second, Whistle Stop, Booklet Top third, As You Like Besanova, Heart of a Lionum Gio, Bold Inspiration, Tarish.
Well, this Australian bred horse is a Group 1 winner, as we know, and he's come through and shown that he's a really, really good horse, James.
Yeah, I think that he's done everything they've asked of him. They've been, as I said, chat that he doesn't stay. He stays a mile properly.
But you know, James, Henry Field, I see he's there. He has Rothwell Stud, the breeders. I see he's in with the owners. Well done to all the owners. There's a few of you own this horse, but he's given you great success before. He's done it again in great style. Well done to Sean Terry, straight back into the big league. And as you say, Michael, the top 2 are very good. Just going just off the top of them. I thought Alec Laird's horses ran well. The 4th horse ran very well.
Well, Alec ran 3rd, 4th and 5th.
Yes.
Yeah, all 3 places.
Running on nicely.
You know, he must be sitting there thinking, hell, you know, I've got 2 that look like they're better than me, and there might be one in Cape Town. You know, where am I going to place these horses? He thinks they're all nice horses.
Well, he's got 2 superstars as well. Remember, he sent them down to Cape Town. He's got the Group 1 winner from Durban.
Yeah.
What is it called? Indigo Child or Indigo Magic or something. I forgot his name.
You'll get it.
I'll get it soon.
Yeah.
That's a Group 1. That's a brilliant horse. He's also got the other one he sent
Forest
down.
Indigo,
Forest Indigo. Yeah. And he's also got...
so they didn't really help you at Harley Street.
No, listen, he's got 3 here. He's got 2 in Cape Town. I think Alex City with a very strong string of horses.
Talking about you know, that little help that you went for a couple of weeks ago to England.
It was nothing to do with memory and recall.
Wasn't it?
Nothing to do with memory and
well,
recall.
listen,
it was straight look. At least straight, to have a good look. You wouldn't think I'm 74 next birthday. No, it works, that place. All right, there we go. I think Alec Laird's got a very strong hand as a young horse. But of course, well done to Sean Terry. Mark Ticock chasing him home all the way. Looks like a wonderful season for the 3-year-old colts and fillies. But let's move on because it's time for the big one. And the talk on the track was, a lot of people asked me, who's going to win the big one? I said, I really don't know. It was tough.
But Lap, you've been on this horse's case for a long time. Yorker was yours for the July.
James, you know, funny enough, I backed him on this race. I backed him at the end because I got 10-1. The key for me was that I saw Greg Blank, and I said to Greg Blank, come on, give us a winner. And he said, tough, Ray. I said, Wiley Hall. He said, no. They put big weight in it. He didn't like Wiley Hall. He said he didn't like Ormond Ferraris' horse that's weighted out of it, a bad draw. He said, go for the lower down numbers. And this horse, I said, can't let him run lonely. You must remember, I backed this horse to win the Vodacom Durban in July a long time out, and he didn't qualify.
Yeah.
I did all my money.
Well, all I can tell you is you should have got all your money back, okay? And it shows you about following up. That's why we have 3 to follow, because you should put them in a black book and follow up. And if you'd followed up on what Laf told you before the July, you would have backed Yorker. But more importantly than that, the second horse I thought was very unlucky. From a good draw, I think he raced quite wide and he really had it all to do.
Things didn't go his way. I thought Talina ran a great race as well. It was a wonderful success for Jeff Woodruff. Nearly 1, 2, 3, 4, but Comnard, who got the horse to go 10 furlong, another great run from Royal Zulu Warrior. So it was an interesting race, but Jeff's day.
Let's go and pick him up at the start, and you'll be able to go through the race with the commentator, and then we'll chat more about it afterwards.
And away they go in the Sansui Summer Cup, hosted by Gauteng. Glorious Jet never got the best of beginnings right now, but as they move along, it's Cherry on the top, who's gone to the lead as they travel to the 18. Wagner's in the second spot, Royal Zulu Warrior. Then Cherry on the Cake is now racing in the blue cap outside of them, and Smunge Munge is also moving forward fast and goes to the lead through to the 14. So Smunge Munge picked it up. Wagner's in the second spot. Then came Cherry on the Cake. Cherry on the top is in the yellow cap at the rail, and 5 off the leader, Royal Zulu Warrior as well. Then came Tiger's Retreat is in the yellow cap and outside of runners. Then we go back to White Line Fever. They race there 7 or 8 lengths off the leader as they canter down towards the 1200 metre mark. Astro News is in the red sleeves and the red cap is back there at the fence, and Yorker behind that. Master Sabina runs behind those now. Glorious Jet is further back. Royal Bench is outside of that run and are racing about 14 or 15 lengths off the leader, being followed a couple by Kalua Castle. Gothic runs behind those, and Knock on Woods the trailer as they move to the 800 metre mark.
And it's Manju led the way, leads it to 3 lengths to Wagner in second. Cherry on the cakes in the blue cap, and then Cherry on the top is on its inside. Followed by Tigers Retreat is in a yellow cap outside of Royal Zulu Warrior Astro News. White Line Fever is racing in the blue cap and 7 lengths off the leader. Gold Onyx is in the silver cap. Master Sabina is coming home on the stand side in the blue and yellow and is moving forward. Has got 6 to go with Kalua Castle. Where's Ilabella? Looking for a little bit of room. The grey has got 5 or 6 to go. Smungy, and now Master Sabina is coming out of the pack on the stand side. Kalua Castle, White Line Fever, Royal Zulu Warrior, Wagner, Talina's got a chance. Yorker, you name it, they got chances. Astro News, Royal Zulu Warrior, Master Sabina has been moving forward all the while now with Kalua Castle, Royal Zulu Warrior, Yorker on the inside, Master Sabina, Yorker, Talina between them. Yorker's finishing well. Here's the line, and Yorker has pulled it off to win the Sansui Summer Cup. Master Sabina close for third in there. Royal Zulu Warriors.
What a great race, and to just reiterate, Jeff Woodruff, very, very well done. This was a superb race. At one stage, James, I didn't know who was going to win. I thought the runner-up was going to win. A few steps before that, I thought Comnadu's horse, Royal Zulu Warrior, would win. I thought Talina was coming through to win. It was a great race.
Any news on Comnadu? What's the story as far as the Joburg setup is concerned?
I haven't heard any more. But, you know, one mustn't forget that Royal Zulu Warrior shifted 59 kilos into that finish to just get beat. This is a super racehorse, Royal Zulu Warrior. You know, Wiley Hall at 60 was 5th, or 6th, right on top of them. Those horses ran very good race. Wagner ran a very good race, showing he's coming right back to himself. He likes this race.
Lev, just going back to Royal Zulu Warrior, it shows what patience is all about. If you look at his thing, 19th of April to the 1st of January, 2011 to the 1st of January 2013, he had like 18 months off, this horse. And he's only had 6 runs since then, or 7 runs since then. He really is a good horse, and I think that he's a horse worth considering for the big races to come.
Absolutely, he's got to be all round. He's got such versatility, such ability. Was a great run. But well done to the owners, of course, the big owners who own this horse, Yorker, to Bernard Cantor, Marcus Negregiusta, and of course Jim Lewis from the Best Mate fame. They put their money. It wasn't a cheap horse, and Cole DeFoss bred him. Well done to Cole. He wasn't a cheap horse, but he was a beautiful horse, and he's a beautiful horse who can run. And he's proven me right, thank goodness.
Yeah, well, the Jetmaster influence comes through. It just shows you what a stallion Jetmaster was. He just amazing stallion. You know, the loss of Jetmaster to this country. Well, there are a couple that are going to fill his boots. We got Silvano and horses like that. They look all right. There's
some very good stallions came through. We're lucky we got a great bunch of stallions. But that was the Summer Cup.
You know, everything was run perfectly. One thing that I think really has got to be considered in today's day and age, I know that a lot of people battled to get a taxi after the last race or during the last 3 or 4 races. I know here at Greyville, they work out for July Day, they get every taxi in Durban outside the racecourse to be able to take racegoers home. People like to have a pot, they like to get drunk, you know, they like to be able to have transport home, and there was no transport.
I've got to agree with you, because I fell victim to it. We were promised the lift, we went downstairs. It was rather late, so the taxi guys, we managed to get a taxi after getting down to the McDonald's. It was a 1948 Datsun without shock absorbers. Driven by a man called Aubrey. 5 of us packed him. We looked like the Greek was front row, the back of the 50s, but he got us home.
What did Vin think about this little lot?
The MD of Magic Millions stuck alongside myself and Phil Giorgio like that. But Aubrey was a great fun. He took 4 of us all the way back to Santon. And to Aubrey, wherever you are, well done.
It couldn't happen in Australia. So, you know, I'm just thinking of Vin. Did it have a COR and all those things, those licenses, but the guy didn't have lights on it?
And it was such an old vehicle, and I'm not joking, really such an old, it didn't look roadworthy. And then suddenly we came up the highway and it started raining. And I thought, if we go around the corner, we'll end up in Brakpan. But Aubrey was a Rasta man. He had Rasta music going, and he got us home.
Flat out.
Well done to flat out. Well done. As fast as it could go.
68 kilometers an hour, flat out, bouncing around. What a picture.
Spring up my Azzy, but we got home. We got home safely, and well done to Aubrey, the driver.
And I hear Vin got on the next plane out of here. He said, that's enough for me, I'm out of this.
No, he enjoyed the ride. It was a good laugh.
We're talking about Vin Cox from Magic Millions. He was with Laf over the weekend. He must have had a bit of fun. Certainly.
Yeah.
But that is, that's one of those things. There are a lot of little things you've got to think about, and that's one of those things that really I think is quite important. You want people to get up
Because
safely
all those
afterwards.
boxes that I was very, very kindly invited to had parties going on.
Oh, flat. And Kelvin's Bar. I went to Kelvin's Bar. Have you ever been into that place?
Not on the big day, no. Packed.
And he had a band there and the whole lot. And, every guy in town was in that bar having a few sharpies. So, Mollet was peeled out by then. He was gone. Do you see him come to the 9th race? His shirt was out. It was unbuttoned. He was slurring. He was having a lovely time. But he tipped a winner.
But he was no worse than all of us. No worse. Well done to Molly.
Good luck to all of them and everyone that was involved. Let's go to and have a look at the Epitombi Challenge. It's now grade 2, so we're only going to show it from the 800.
Third, then Dirty Dealin' Mama racing on the outside in fourth, followed by Music Affair, Go Indigo, Orange Blossom, Amira Fair further back, then comes Do You Remember, turns for home with 8 lengths to find Classic Illusion, Blue Route is wider out, then comes Negev, as they come down to the 500, Sea Shadow is a huge leader, leads by 4, Espermanti's been asked to close that gap now, and starting to do so, in behind that comes Flitter, then Orange Blossom, 300 to go, and Espermanti has moved up strongly to Sea Shadow. These two are pulled clear of Orange Blossom. Then in behind that comes Do You Remember, who's flying up now. But Espermanti hits the front in the Epitomi Challenge. And ladies and gentlemen, it's all Espermanti in the final 50. Espermanti beats Sea Shadow. Third will go to Do You Remember, Flitter, Break of Dawn, Go Indigo, Orange Blossom. Then Classic Illusion, Negev.
Well, there we go. Michael de Kock strikes with Espermanti, and well done to Mary Slach, Wilgerbosdrift. They had a good day. They won. They bred 2 stakes runners, 2 group races. But Anthony Delpesh, Dan Silly, good stallion.
Fabulous stallion. Absolutely fantastic.
The runner-up, Sea Shadow, very good race. Do you remember? I think it was first run since the Vodacom Dome in July.
Yeah, she ran a cracking good race too. I think the top 3 you certainly can follow. And this filly that ran second, Sea Shadow, if she trains on, she could be very, very effective at Greyville, a place like Greyville. She's quick and she hangs on. She ran a great race.
Right, James, let's go on to the last one of the day.
I think we got to have a break.
Yeah, let them have a race. Let them
have a race.
Let's have a break.
Go and have a break. We'll be back in a moment.
Right, back we go. We're talking about the big Summer Cup day and what a great day it was. We're on to the Steyn race now, the Racing Association Handicap, a Group 3 race, and a double on the day for Waiho Mowing, for Wilgerbosdrift, with a horse called Sky Rise. And Muzi Yanni, still a very, very good rider. He's done the bit. Let's have a look at the race and we can talk about it.
These ones, then we found Scar Pirate Salutation races towards the rear with Bamako. Inline for home, just under 800 metres left to go. Patriotic Rebel and Delpesh given a little bit more rain. It's 2 lengths in front. Billy Joe comes under a ride and Transit Guest is up the inside. Jet Fever and the blue body seems to be travelling relatively well. Peregrine's out after them. Scar Pirate dives up the inside. Patriotic Rebel's the leader. Jet Fever's in second. Rhythmic Roxy now comes out in third and further back to Scar Rise. But here's Jet Fever, picks up the lead under the hands of Striker. It's 2 lengths in front of Patriotic Rebel, who's now battling to stay with it. Rhythmic Roxy and Scar Rise off further back, but it's Jet Fever. Now gets popped the question. He's got a couple of lengths in front of Scar Rise, who's trying really hard in second. Back in third place is Rhythmic Roxy. It's Jet Fever who's flat. Scar Rise. Here comes Scar Rise, and he's got it. Scar Rise won it from Jet Fever. Then came Rhythmic Roxy and Storm Warning finished fourth.
Well, there we go. Muzi Yanni for Waiho Mowing, and I think it was the Chin Sammies, I think, owned this horse.
Yeah, the Chin Sammies, and it was a Fort Wood, bred by Wilgerbosdrift as well. Really wonderful to see them win this race, and I thought Muzieni rode a brilliant race. Stratham did everything to win it, every single thing he could to win. He produced his horse at the right time. Everything was right, but Skyrise too good on the day.
Yeah. Very, very successful day. Anything else coming through in racing news, James?
Today's a big day. Today is a very big day, Laf, I must tell you. There's 2 things that the NHA have brought into play, and today is the first day of them. Anabolic steroids are banned, from today. And the 6 points reduction in the handicapping comes in from today.
True impact.
Go back 6 points. Everything goes back 6 points. We've had this 6 months of wilderness, of blackness, where everyone's been aggravated as can be. All gets changed around today.
Nice that the trainers got involved behind that quite a bit.
Well, I think the trainers have got to be thanked, because really Robert Bloomberg and the trainers committee, the South African trainers who bandied together, who were all concerned about this, did a tremendous amount of work through Robert Bloomberg to get these two things brought into play. And then they brought in the reclassification of drugs that's coming in, which is going to be a huge plus for the industry. And really things are going the right way. Let's hope that we keep going in this positive manner.
These open door policies help everybody. And as James says, there's been a lot of lobbying, a lot of speaking people. Let's get it right. It's our industry. And James, anything else? I think that wraps up current affairs.
The weanlings sale in England, highest prices ever, top weaning sales ever. Flat Out goes a 7-year-old Bulmott train that came to win the Cigar Mile in America, and big racing coming. But we're going to have a look at your call, where we've got a few emails that are worth having a look at.
Right, welcome to another edition of Your Call. As James said, we're going to take in letters and see what people have to say and make a few discussions. And we get straight into the action. And the first one comes from Colin Devon, who has sent it through to Paul and James. And he said a lot of people are disgruntled that we're not showing the betting when they scroll and teletrack at the bottom. And it's got to be amended. And his basic questions are, when's it going to happen?
Well, they're in negotiations. As with everything, things have got to be negotiated, they've got to be sorted out.
You want the betting, go to Interbet, James, our sponsors.
Well, that's it. Interbet's the answer, absolutely the answer, because you just got to log in, sign on, and you can get all the bookmakers betting, and you can bet on the tote there as well, so you can bet on everything. And more interestingly, as I was talking to Johnny Stark about Interbet, and they are now going to be doing in-running betting on everything.
That's a big...
That's going to be, that's coming. So you'll be able to bet in running.
So you're watching a race, you think, well, someone's offering me 2-1 this horse's country, I'm going to take it. Like Betfair.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a positive step, but you can get on there. But with regard, there's still negotiations going on, and we haven't got the answers with why they're not displaying them on Teletrack, but we will have more answers in time about that. But thanks very much to Colin Devon. What do you got, James?
Anant Naidu. Good morning. I hope you guys are well. Thanks for the show. Great show. Entertaining. Last night, so you answer email. So this is what he wants. To whom it may concern, my name is Anand Naidu, and he sent us to Keeping Track at Pumalela, a subject to observations request. So they've obviously seen it and hope to have a response, and maybe he has had a response, but it's quite a long thing. He says that over time I observed the following. There are different presenters and on-course interviews, mainly under starters' orders. This brings a great variety, but also inconsistency into practice. My observation is follows. Sometimes presenters allow their personal preferences to get away with an open-ended question. Well, I think presenters that's what they're meant to give, is their personal opinion.
They're all different, and you're correct. You want their opinion.
And He would like to suggest that you give typical questions to the presenter so that you get good answers. Well, I don't think that works. That definitely doesn't work.
It can't work, you know, you can't
On-course pre-race interviews. These are great, especially to get information on first-timers straight from the parade ring. This information is then relayed to the viewer and punter before the race. Post-race interviews. As a punter, I always enjoyed post-race interviews with the winning connection. This used to happen at least 5 minutes after any concluded race. So provided the benefit all round to the winning connections and the breeders. If the winning connections had more runners later on, the interviewer did their homework and asked the right questions. Punters and the viewing public will get an indication of what's to come. Case of point was yesterday's Pottsville. I quote, when jockey C. Zaki was asked about his rides after winning on Father Ted, he gave the great indication about his mounts Open the Bank and Hard Rock. I only got this information after watching the racing replays. Too late. My question is, why cannot we revert to post-race interviews will assist in all concern?
Good point.
And then he goes on to anti-post betting, which we've chatted about as well. But thanks for the email, Anna.
Just touching on that point, James, the people on course get the feedback of what's happening. But he's got a point. If you're sitting at home and
that's why it's worth going on course. And you have a great visual of being close to the parade ring, seeing the horses, being part of the action. Everything is sorted.
But it'd be good if someone like Arthur Marcus wins the first race and his selections through the day are sent through on Teletrack. But very good point. Thanks very much, Anand. And then the next one we're going from is from John Solani. Now, this comes up, there's quite a vein of this, and we've dealt with it because it's a little dated, but I must just repeat it. They said Justin Snaith came on and he commented about the Sharks and their supporters, you know, how Province would smash the Sharks and how sorry he felt for the supporters. Now, we've given Justin a real roasting on the show over it because we got it right. We would have been dead stum if he was right.
No, we wouldn't. We would have just taken it like men, like we do. The last year, we took it like men. We got a bloody good club, and we were aggravated as hell about it. But we took it the same way as they've taken it like men as well. They've taken it like what they are, pretty boys, you know.
The pretty boys took it
very
very,
well.
very well.
Coming out of the, so mountain goat territory, but what can you do?
That's right. So just for the
well done.
For the Snaith twins, Sharks have got the Curry Cup.
Yeah.
Don't forget
for
that.
A year.
For a year. You had it for a year, it's with us for a year.
And I can tell you, we got Jake White as well. You should let him go. You should have kept him there. Him and Lindy, you had a chance. Yeah. They lived down there. You should have kept him because I'm telling you, you're going to get clubbed again this year properly. Big Jake's coming to give you one.
Okay, what's Big James got?
Abu Baker Kippy. We've had the Kippy before.
It's a great name, isn't it, James?
Yeah.
Abu Baker Kippy.
Yeah. Very disappointed in the way James handles the emails. Like last week, a caller complained about the couplings being taken away and he refused to read the email. Let me remind him. It does not mean he's in charge of the show, that he can do as he pleases. We are a democratic country. We are 20 years in democracy. His autocratic style is no good for democracy. I would like to have a debate with him on any show. Abu Baker. Well, all I can tell you, I'd love to have a debate with you. You set it up, get us
James,
on SABC.
We try and cover everyone's emails. We don't just throw them away. If they're hogwash, we're not.
But he's disappointed. He's
disappointed.
But we disappoint a lot of people.
I wonder if it's Abu Baker Kippy or Kippy Abu Baker. Which should be his surname? Because Kippy is a hell of a name. I'd love to see Jimbo versus Kippy having a debate.
Maybe you can get on seventh alarm.
7 days. Anyway, thanks very much for putting in. But I think, James, you've got to be much more democratic, James. Your autocratic style is out of school.
Yeah, no, that's right. 20 years democracy, there's no doubt. Thank you, Abu Baker. I'm going to change my ways completely.
I've got another
one.
You
listen to me.
Yeah, everyone's entitled to his opinion. All right, listen, let's get on to one we got here from Roger Scott, and again, he's got it in brackets here, Pretty Boy Snaith. He's taking to your name, James. I think everyone's jealous of the Snaith boys. They're good-looking boys.
We are jealous of them.
Good-looking boys.
We'd been as pretty when we were young.
No, we're handsome. They're pretty. There's a big difference, James. And he, when Captain of our soul, he came with his great quote, and it's come to slap him in the face like apple pie. But the message from Roger Scott to Justin Snaith is: stick to tipping horses. He's better than his tips in rugby, but.
Only just better.
Only just better. Thanks very much, Roger. That one, just to let the pretty boys know that people are watching them when they're on the show. Right, what do you got?
I've got our mate George Barnes. He's sent a letter to David McGilvray, and the letter is about wrong horses winning a race, and he refers to
an instance it is.
NHA report on the 5th of July that says injection was lodged by secondary stewards in a horse called Rainbow Spectrum, ran as Duchess Rosita. So that last little interview, Magic Feet in them, wasn't the first time that it happened.
So why is, James, just touch on it for the public out there, why is it happening? He's having to go to Cape Town for it happening again, and it's affecting people. Why aren't they picking it up afterwards?
Well, I don't know. At the end of the day, that they did pick it up, and contravention of the rule, the trainer of Duchess Rosita, Andre Steyn, failed to comply with instructions contained in the parcel with regard to checking the identity of the horses. He was fined 1,000 rand.
So just let me get this right. He failed to spot it at the wrong horse. He brought the wrong horse to races, handed his passport in. They failed to spot it.
Yeah.
Let the horse run. Then someone after said, hey, it's the wrong horse. Is that basically what happened?
Well, I'm not sure.
I just don't understand this. You know, it's happened twice. So
yeah, it ran as Duchess Rosita in race 3.
But they must be using all those
Forever
tests
Young
to
Maiden Juvenile Plate.
Well, we've got to look into it. Come on, Cape Town, sort it out. The guys have got the needle here because they're not getting their money back. And Rainbow Spectrum, Duchess Rosita.
I didn't realize it was the second time that this has happened.
Who is responsible, he says, for checking the identifications
Well,
of the marking?
that's our identifier, and she's been dismissed.
Because it's happened twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was the second time it happened in Cape Town.
All right, that's Georgie Barnes. He likes to get his pen to paper, doesn't he?
Yeah, you've got to give Georgie Barnes a go. Let's see what he's
I
got.
found another Georgie Barnes one going here. And he says, at least we know we read his stuff. So he's quite happy about this, and he's frustrated with a lot of things happening at Teletrack at the moment. And what did he say? He said this new sale, he watched this cocktail party, James, the précis of it, the meat of it is that he watched the sale, and he says he thinks that it's all the fanfare that goes in the new sale, but people having to put another 5,000, 10,000. He says it's just like thumping it in like a Ponzi scheme. Why shouldn't the breeders pay it? Well, the breeders are the unsung heroes. They don't need to pay
But
anymore.
they do pay.
They do pay some of
to
it.
enter.
But he says by the time they collected all these people's money, they just about got the stake money, he said. And
Which is true.
yeah, and he said he's had to go at Teletrack, and we're not going to go into it, but he did say they met with David Raphael, who offered to help, and he was told, no thanks, we don't need your service. I don't know if that's true, but this is what he's highlighted. And then the last point he makes, James, I think is quite a good one. In the blast from the past, can you get movies from Mace in England, winning the Fillies, Guineas, and other big races he's rode? Let's approach Mace. He must have a record of all he wins.
Absolutely. In fact, Mace said to me the other day that he thinks that he should be more often on our show.
Yeah, we can resort
I said
to
when he loses a bit of weight for this Jockey's Challenge, then we'll get him on. We
We
can't
can
have
get
the
him.
Michelin man on our show.
We get his rudimentary English.
Peter Kaiser. I know a lot has already been said, written, and it will not be the last since the Jackpot Pick 6 couplings were discontinued. I personally do not have an issue with it, as I study form and only adds to the new dimension to it. However, in interest of racing and ultimately the small-time punter, we do have to ask ourselves, why were couplings introduced in the first place? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm of the opinion that it is done to level the playing fields. If this is correct, why have the powers that be see fit after all these years now decide to discontinue it? If it is done to boost the bigger pools, it's done to the detriment of the smaller punter. And this seems to be the thread all the way
Well,
through.
James, let's go for a break. We've got our sponsors, and we'll be back in a moment.
Okay.
Here we are, the Magic Million graduates. Who is that? Goldie Coast, James.
That's a very good filly that I found for you at that sale.
That's right.
She's
You did your laps through the aisles. $14,000, Goldie Coast. She's now won 3 or 6. She's doing well.
I'm so pleased for you guys because really, at the end of the day, if we hadn't been able to put it together, it would have been sitting in Australia. And
That's
she's
right.
a very good filly. She's got
Very
a lovely
good.
pedigree. And the guys who own her, well, one guy, that Ram, Billy Henderson, he's a legend.
He's a good man. They're great mates and they race together. So well done to Brahm and Billy. That's their horse, Goldie Coast. But sticking with this theme, because James, the next one goes straight onto it. I'm going to touch on both of them because Roy Petey also sent in one. And the fact that he makes, James, is this. He says, you offer a big lure of this huge pot. He said, when that's won, the million pot by somebody, That money is going out the game. It's going into real estate, large cars if it's millions. It's not coming back. He said when there's a lot of people winning, and it's 5, 10 grand, 20, 50, 60, it goes back in. He's got a point, James.
Absolutely. Is that Roy's point?
That's right, yeah,
Roy Petrie.
Roy Petrie's point.
It's quite interesting what else he's got to say, because what else Peter Kayes has got to say. He said, I believe that in order to revive and retain their interest in racing, the powers should introduce a jackpot plus and a pick six plus where couplings apply. As before, let the punter decide for themselves which pool they want to participate in. Racing will benefit tremendously, as I believe large numbers will invest in both pools without couplings and with couplings, similar to the Lotto and the Lotto Plus. It makes sense, you know. That's not a bad
They have gone to the
thought.
bar pot, to Peter Kayes. They have gone to bar pot, which is first and second and 6 races, and people are warming to it, James. It looked easy. I'll catch it. It's not that easy. And it's starting to pay, the bar pots. But a good point from both of them.
And PK also says that a recent editorial by the Punters' Pal in our local newspaper hinted at rumours of the discontinuation of percentage betting. He said that will be disastrous for racing. Well, I agree with him 100%. I think the key to punting success in this country is percentage betting.
Yes.
And I know that the Argentinians, pools, the tote pools never did anything until they came over here and they took the percentage betting concept to Argentina. It took a long time to catch on, but my goodness, their pools are much better now than they were. Let's move on to Kieran Basir.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Goodman and Mr. Lafferty. Writing this letter not only as an avid racegoer, as a part owner in horses, but lover of this wonderful sport of kings. I understood the odds are no more on Teletrack, the license with the KwaZulu-Natal bookmakers. I mostly nibble, I back down. He likes the colour, you know, the reds and the greens.
Yeah,
he has Interbet, which is good. He has Interbet, but he says his reception is very bad. Well, I'm going to talk to Johnny about it, get Johnny to sort his reception out. Johnny Stark, that is, at Interbet.
Hard working, Johnny Stark.
Well, he is the hardest working on this planet. I do not see why punters should suffer because of some licensing agreement, and this is a matter of urgency. Now, the questions he'd like answered: should we as the punters suffer due to this? No, the answer is straight. No, they shouldn't. But the thing is that it's an ongoing
should never
problem.
suffer. But we haven't got the answers to the negotiations, James.
Is this odds going to be shown again? Well, we certainly think so and hope so. If so, when can we expect this? We can't answer any of those questions, but that's a swift reply for you, Kieran, and we hope that it comes right soon.
Okay, we've got the last one before we end up your call. And we thank people for bringing us their letters and their last ones. But here, James, they're talking about Richard Hughes on your horse. He said, what a good jockey on a mediocre horse. Tell him it's not a mediocre horse, James.
It's a damn good horse.
Damn good, very good horse.
Good jockey on a very good horse.
Very good horse.
Listen,
Won easily.
The horse, honestly, it was one of the rides of rides. And what amazes me is that they haven't taken it to the apprentices and shown it to them. Every night they should show it to them before they go to bed.
He's got another graph, James. So when commentators are calling and a horse is clear and stays on to win, don't say he just gets up. He just hangs on. There's a huge difference when you're leading and people are chasing you. But his big gripe he's put in bold, angry right near James is the after the race when a start scanned
this is all about and I think that I don't think that this has got makes any sense at all.
It's a little correct.
They only scanned the horse, okay, when it went to the dope box, when it went for its dope test. It was in the winner's box. No one scans the horse in the winner's box.
Never.
They scan it in the dope box when they've got the passport with it
Yes.
to check that it's the right horse that's going for a dope thing. That it hasn't been mixed up on the way through.
Okay.
So, you know, the all clear is given long before that has happened.
We have to, because people have got their money back.
That doesn't matter.
Well, James, that's your call for today. And interesting the thoughts. You know, a lot of people are pushing the snake, a lot of people pushing the numbers on the Teletrack.
I think at this juncture there's something very important that we've got to bring up, and that is that the Magic Million sale, the big sale, is the second week in January?
Have you seen the catalogue, James? It's
I've seen the catalogue.
Outstanding catalogue with top horses, and last year they sent out 2 Wiley Hall, Willow Magic, 2 Group 1 winners at reasonable prices. And
so the point is that, you know, we're telling people, do they get hold of you to arrange
agent,
travel, and you the agent and everything?
Get hold of me, get hold of me anyway, and I'll be able to help you. If anyone interested in going to the sale, to try and buy an Australian Magic Millions. But it's a very strong catalogue, and we have spare catalogues.
Fantastic. There you go. From me, James, and my best mate here, Paul. We hope you've had a very interesting show and enjoyed it. And next week, we're going to have, hopefully, he's promised to be on the show next week, Peter Gibson, talking about the protocols and all of the latest information. He said that he'll be here. We hope that we'll be able to bring him to you. From us, until next week, you have a great week's racing.